This Day in Sports History. And welcome back to This Day in Sports History, a member of the Sports History Network. You can find more podcasts at sportshistorynetwork.com. It's January 29th, and on this day in 1995, Steve Young finally got the proverbial monkey off his back. It had been 5 years since the 49ers had won a Super Bowl. In that span, there had been some transition and some controversy. The quarterback who'd guided the Niners to back-to-back Super Bowl wins to close out the 80s was, of course, Joe Montana. In the 1990 NFC Championship game against New York, Montana had injured his elbow, and that injury caused him to miss all of 91 and a good portion of the 92 season. Well, Steve Young had been the backup to Montana, and he stepped into the role with barely a hiccup. But in 91, the Niners missed the playoffs for the first time in a decade. In 92, they made it to the NFC Championship game but lost to the eventual champs, the Dallas Cowboys. That same script seemed to play out in 93, with the Niners losing to Dallas again in the NFC title game. The following season, Dallas and San Fran met in the NFC Championship for the third year in a row, with the Niners finally winning this time. So that was one monkey off their back, but there was the other one. Could Steve Young win the big one? He'd lived in the shadow of Montana as his backup, and even after he'd departed for Kansas City, he still cast a pretty long shadow over his protege. San Francisco came in as a huge 18.5-point favorite in this one, and the Niners certainly played like that right out of the gate. Al Michaels had barely introduced the starters when Young threw his first touchdown pass on the third play of the game.
And the secondary, and they'll be tested tonight. Gordon, Harper, the corners, Carrington and Richard to the safety. From the 44, they fake it to Floyd. Young to the air, Young to Jerry Rice. Touchdown, San Francisco. The lightning bolts were just hit by one.
Now, this was Jerry Rice's flu game. It seems like all the greats have a flu game some point in their career, where they rise above how they're feeling and put on an impressive show. Well, that touchdown catch gave Rice his 6th career Super Bowl touchdown to become the all-time leader in that category. And then, when San Francisco got the ball back, they went back to the air.
First down at the 49-yard line. Young this time gives it, or fakes it to Floyd, then throws to Waters, who breaks a couple of tackles, and there goes Ricky for a touchdown.
At that point, the Niners had run a total of 7 plays and scored 14 points. The rout was on. San Diego did put points on the board after a 13-play drive that ate more than 7 minutes of clock. It was a good strategy, if only to keep the ball out of Young's hands, because nearly as soon as they were back on offense, they scored again. Young's third touchdown pass came in the second quarter to fullback William Floyd. He tacked on number 4 a few drives later with another toss to Ricky Waters to make it 28-7. And then Waters scored his third touchdown in the third quarter with a 9-yard run to pay dirt. Young had to wait a little longer to equal Montana's Super Bowl record of 5 touchdown passes, but he got there.
3rd and 13 at the 15 after the timeout. Young throws. Jerry Rice. Touchdown.
So that equaled the record set by Montana in Super Bowl XXIV 5 years earlier. Now, did he have one more in him? You bet he did. With Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Deerdorf trying to find ways to keep the game interesting, Young found his old favorite target.
Language, and it's like a Tower of Babel almost up here as we walk along the press box with the foreign languages that are broadcasting being hit.
Rice making the catch, stretching and reaching. Touchdown, San Francisco. A clinic.
6 touchdown passes, 3 to Rice, 2 to Ricky Waters, and Steve Young had officially and with authority stepped out of the shadow and into his own light. His 6 TD passes is still the Super Bowl record. This Super Bowl also was known for a couple of other things. One, Niner linebacker Ken Norton became the first player in NFL history to play for 3 straight Super Bowl winners. He'd been a Dallas Cowboy the previous 2 seasons, and Deion Sanders became the first person to play in both a World Series, which he did back in 1992 with the Atlanta Braves, and a Super Bowl, and he's still alone in that rare air. In true primetime fashion, he made sure everybody knew he was at the ballgame.
4th down and 6. And Gilbert flips one, and that is picked off, and why not? What's a Super Bowl without a Deion Sanders interception? And then Ronnie Harmon comes in and bangs into the turf at the 11-yard line.
Oh, and Ronnie Harmon.
The 49ers won 49-26, covering the massive 18.5-point spread pretty easily, and became the first franchise to win 5 Super Bowls. On this day in 2012, golfer Brandt Snedeker got a bit of a surprise. He'd just wrapped up his final round of the Farmers Insurance Open in La Jolla. He'd signed his card and he was talking to the media about his second-place finish. He was pleased how the day had gone. He'd been 7 strokes back at one point during the day. He had a nice, strong finish with a birdie on the 72nd hole to get to 16 under, and it had him enthused about what was to come. Well, what Brandt did not know is that the wheels were coming off the bus driven by tourney leader Kyle Stanley. Stanley came to the 18th hole with a 3-shot lead and ready to cash his first PGA Tour check. He had a gorgeous approach to 18, which hit the middle of the green, but it had a little bit too much backspin, and it rolled off the green, down a slope, and looked like it was going to stop, and then it picked up speed again and hopped into the water hazard. He did have a putt to win from 6 feet, but that slid by on the left, and he tapped in for a triple bogey. A tournament official interrupted Snedeker's press conference to let him know that he had some more golf to play. Snedeker won on the second playoff hole. Shocking for Snedeker, one of the truly nice guys on tour. Heartbreaking for Stanley, who was in tears at his post-round press conference. He didn't have to wait too much longer for redemption, though. Stanley won the following week at the Waste Management Phoenix Open. On this day in 1980, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Cleveland Cavaliers played a marathon of a game. The Cavaliers were a mediocre, middle-of-the-road team that season, and they entered the game on a 3-game losing streak. The Lakers, on the other hand, had won 8 of their last 9 and featured a 20-year-old rookie named Magic Johnson. The Lakers erased an 11-point Cavalier halftime lead with a resurgent third quarter, and they led by 3 going to the fourth. The Cavaliers put together enough to send the game to overtime, tied at 114. LA and Cleveland would equal each other for the first 3 overtimes. With 2 seconds left in the fourth OT and the Lakers up 1, the Lakers' Jim Chones fouled Cleveland's Mike Mitchell, who went to the free throw line and sank a pair to secure the 154-153 quadruple overtime win. Legendary radio broadcaster Joe Tate said it was the greatest game that he ever called in his 41-year career as the Cavs play-by-play man. Lakers head coach Paul Westhead was obviously not happy to have played 68 minutes and get nothing for it, but his big memory of that game is not what happened on the court, but what happened off it, saying, "I remember there were so many timeouts that we ran out of things to say." Interestingly enough, despite this being a high-scoring game even with the extended time, there was not a single three-pointer made and only 1 attempted that night. This was the first year that the league had added the three-point arc to the court, and adoption was a little bit slow. The win was not a spark for the Cavs either. They went on to lose 4 straight after this one and finish 8th in the Eastern Conference and out of the playoffs. The Lakers did not let the loss bother them too much. They went on to win their 7th NBA title a few months later. Also on this day, it was a banner day for Halls of Fame. In 1936, the first Baseball Hall of Fame elections were made and included Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth, Christy Mathewson, Honus Wagner, and Walter Johnson. In 1963, the first class of NFL Hall of Famers were elected, with Red Grange, Jim Thorpe, and George Halas among those selected for induction. And time now for That's Got Nothing to Do with Sports. Did you know? About 25% of the world's population sneezes when they see a bright light. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.